Kenneth says college football is just fine. He says, and we will be fine. College football, is a place where a lot of things change. He says change happens. It's not a big deal. And I think what Kenneth is saying here actually has a lot of validity to it. And we have been, extremely vocal in what we disagree with college sports and college football, how it's changing, because NIL is kind of this genie that's now out of the bottle. We think NIL is great. Do we really want to exist in a place where guys that are worth millions of dollars are just getting their tuition paid for and their books paid for and their living paid for, and that's it? When really they're worth multi-million dollars and they may not be worth that much in the future? Great, more power to them. I think that's fair that happens. The transfer portal, there's pushback on that and how that's being operated. Yeah, we don't really want, college football free agency necessarily to the degree that we have it right now, but when your coach leaves, there should be some opportunity for you to change as your situation changes. So we think that's a positive thing. All that's to say, what's happening now is a good thing in college sports, in college football. Like anything, anytime there's change and there's new tools available, there's the potential for those tools to be abused. But at the same time, I think what Kenneth is saying here about college football being fine is right on the money. Another thing that we've been pretty vocal against here too is the expansion of the college football playoff. We have gone to this thing kicking and screaming and being like, hey, we think 4 is good. We're all about the college football regular season meeting as much as possible. But now that we're here, the 12-team playoff era, it's like we still think the sport is fine. The intrigue around this sport has never been higher. TV ratings are up pretty much across the board. The problems we have right now, for the most part, are champagne problems. And so for those that would disagree, I would say, what matters to you in college football? What are the reasons that you love college football? I think for most of us, we would say we love the regular season. We love the fact that on a fall Saturday, you get together with your friends, with your family. Maybe you just want to be alone because you want to lock in on the game. But however you watch college football, whether you're at the game, whether you're on the couch, that's still going to happen. They're still going to, at some point in time, line it up, and they're going to run through the Power T, or they'll run it on the field in Ann Arbor, or they will run down the hill in Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina. Whatever you cherish about college football, I wholeheartedly believe the core of that is still intact. And so until they change the rules and we're playing flag football or we're playing some version of 7-on-7, I think what we care about with this sport, the pageantry, the tradition, the rivalries, for the most part, all of that's still intact. And so when you show up to a game for a tailgate or whenever you walk into the stadium and they get ready to kick it off, when that's actually happening, we're not going to be thinking about how much the quarterback's making in NIL. We're not going to be thinking about, well, they actually transfer portaled in this guy, that guy, and this guy. When it's 3rd and 7 for the ball game, we're locked in. At that point in time, the magic is still very much so within the sport. And so until something like that changes to where we're not playing on fall Saturdays or we're not having the same rules that make the sport what it is, and I'm not talking about the clock changes, I'm not talking about targeting, I'm talking about until they take the pads off of them and the kids are no longer a part of the school and we just totally warp the sport to where it's unrecognizable, then we can have a problem with this. Then maybe there's something to talk about. But from what I can gather, NIL's not changing that. The transfer portal's not changing that. Conference realignment, though there's some issues with that, that's not changing it. The 12-team playoff, that's not changing it. Our sport, like Kenneth is saying here, I think is still fine. So we're going to keep an eye on how this thing evolves, but I think for right now, Kenneth, that unpopular take, brother, I don't think that's on this show, at least for us right here, that is not unpopular by any stretch of the imagination. So we appreciate Kenneth adding to the conversation. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.